Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Hello, it's Tisha, and you're tuning into Tisha Talks Live at 10:45. And I've got a special guest sitting in the green room, Anneliese Vance from Ohio, and she'll be joining me in just a few moments. But before we get started, if you are tuning into Tisha Talks Live for the very first time, or you're catching this on a recording, Tisha Talks Live has been in production for years, and I love having this live stream because I get to interview so many cool people from all around the globe, especially entrepreneurs, providing you value, providing you insight on some topics. You're like, I just want to learn about that. So if you are tuning into this and you have a question for Anneliese or myself, make sure you ask that. Don't be shy. Say hello. This is being broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So welcome if you're tuning in. And of course, if you're catching the replay, then we'd love to hear from you too. Before we get started, a couple of quick announcements. Special thanks to Social Life. Social Life is a proud sponsor of Tisha Talks Live. And shout out to Chris. And they are reshaping how people discover hyper-local entertainment in Arizona. This is a new app that's on the market, and you can get it on Google Play and the App Store if you're looking for fun things to do. All right, so tomorrow coming up is Connecting Through Community. That's coming up tomorrow at 8 a.m. I have about 15 plus volunteers coming. So excited. We're going to be doing some yard work for the senior community out in Chandler. Still time to register if you would like to attend. Here's what I'm going to say about Connecting Through Community. Yes, we are doing a service project, and you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to be tending the flowers with. You never know. So I love it because it's a really big part of networking as well, doing something good and lending a hand. And kids are always welcome to attend. And last but not least, Social Connect Simplified is also coming up May 29th from 4 to 6 out here in Chandler at Courthouse. And you can also connect with others who attend events at socialconnect.world just to meet the people who come. There's a little member directory for you as well. But love to see you at that event. Save the date. Again, May 29th. That's a Wednesday from 4 to 6. I'll bring the pretzels. You buy your beer. It's a really good time. All right. So before we bring in Anneliese, a little bit of a dance party to get us started this Friday, and I will be right back. All right. I hope you enjoyed that little dance party. I have to give a shout out to two people who are tuning in on LinkedIn. We've got Yolanda, who is saying, hey, it's Friday, time for Tisha Talks Live, throwing up our little dance moves there. And of course, Royce Blake. Hi, Royce. Says, Tisha, you're doing fine work. Thank you so much, Royce, for being here again. And here we go with the show. So Anneliese Vance coming in from Ohio. Welcome to the show, Anneliese. Good to have you here.
I was just doing a dance party too, and hey, Royce, I know you.
Thanks. I know you're kind of swiveling in your little chair there.
I was bebopping.
I always think it's just a fun way to just kick off a show and just get in the mood. So we have so much to cover today. And before we get started, Anneliese, I love that on your profile on LinkedIn, you were like the realest mom out there. You're like, I am in the human jungle gym. Even just before we got on this live stream, you were talking about how your daughter's in the other room and you're putting her down for a nap and you're giving the husband instructions and you're like, I'm on a live stream for this long. Please, just handle it.
Yep. I've been told that's a new one that I have been told I'm the most honest mom by if Chris Nesbitt hears this. He is the owner of Ace Virtual Agency and runs my VA team that has been an absolute lifesaver. So shout out to him. But he's like, you make me feel so much better about myself as a parent because you're so honest. And you're like, yeah, I just yelled at my kid. Like, it happens. We're human, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so fun.
But the realist mom, I like that one. I have gotten the most family-oriented person on LinkedIn, which initially shocked me, but it's been by like tens of 20s of people. And I'm like, I wear that as a badge of honor. Like that was never my goal. I'm just being myself, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We were talking about this in the green room, and I know Yolanda here is saying, I can relate. Oh, yeah. Here,
Hey,
I can
Royce!
relate. Yeah. And then, of course, Royce again. Yeah. We were just talking about the dynamic of when you have kids and you have businesses and you're running the show. And like I just said that I have 2 kids in club soccer, and it's always like I'm making dinner at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I have a specific time frame for when the kids need to eat so they can digest properly to get to said soccer field. And then I'm telling my husband, dinner's on the stove, you grab it, I'll take my daughter, you take my son, I'll meet you in the middle, we'll see you at night. Like that's life right now.
Right. Yeah,
It's a
and
little
bless you
crazy.
that you make food, because my kids know when mommy cooks, if it's not takeout, it's peanut butter and jelly and goldfish. And every once in a while, we spice it up with a yogurt, a banana, or a clementine orange.
Yeah.
So my daughter literally said to me, she goes, "Mommy, why do you cook? Why does Daddy cook and you feed us?" And I said, "Baby, because that's just how it works. And the food will taste better if your dad eats it." He used to be a chef.
Oh.
So now I say he's our family's private chef. But I'm like, honey, because that's how Daddy and mommy work. Like that's just I one day maybe, I'll learn to cook, but
So
not right now.
I have a really funny story, and then I promise
Okay.
everybody we're going to get into marketing as well. But so
I could talk about this for the whole live stream.
I know, and I'm sure Yolanda, since you can relate, you can jump in too. So the other day, remember I said I have to make dinner super early. So I was trying a new recipe. I've had this before, but I was trying a new recipe, and it was, like the stuffed bell peppers. It's like rice and meat.
Love them.
Yes. Yeah. So it's telling me to, of course, cook the pepper, put the stuffing in there, cook the pepper again. So my son sees it sitting on the table, and it's stuffed already, but I had to put it back in, but I had to go get my other daughter, my daughter. Okay. So it's sitting there. I come home and he's eating it, and he's like, "These don't taste good." I'm like, "It's because they're not all the way cooked." Oh, no. I'm like, "It's not done. It's made. It's fine, but it is still kind of raw."
Hey, kudos to you that you are. My kids do eat very, very healthy, by the way, but they just know, like, if they're going to eat, like, he gets almond. My kids are so particular, especially my daughter. My son needs almond butter because he had a thing with peanut butter before. I think he's outgrown it, but now he's just kind of used to that. He wants cherry preserves, but my daughter wants strawberry. Yeah, it's a whole thing. She'll tell my husband, "Daddy, can you please make mine with strawberry?" She's 4, by the way. 4
years old. Yeah. It's know what they want. Hey, I've never even heard of cherry preserves, so that's new for me. Now I'm like, where do I even find cherry preserves?
Cherry at Costco if you've got one where you're at.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've got Costco. All right.
We need Costco to survive. It is like the like necessary tool of parenting.
Absolutely. Costco.
I was skeptical, and then my kids got old enough to eat, and I was like, oh yeah, like if my husband comes home with something that we could get at Costco, like individual canned green beans, I'm like, what are you doing? I can get a whole thing for $10 at Costco. Like, take it back. Yeah.
Take back that 59-cent can of green beans.
I know, right?
Costco.
I know. He's like, really? I'm like, yes, please.
Funny.
I'll even go. I'll take it back.
That's funny. I saw a man at my gym one day. It had the Costco sign, like the Costco, the branding, and it said, have you heard of that band, Panic at the Disco? Have you heard of that band?
Heard of it, but I couldn't identify them.
So his shirt said Panic at the Costco.
Yes. Well, we've started getting the ginormous pizzas there because they're $10 and we can cut the slices in half versus going and getting, another carryout pizza for $10. Like I think it lasted like a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Those pizzas are amazing. I just have to throw this up there. Royce saying bell pepper tartare.
That's awesome.
I just looked at him, Royce, and I was like, why are you eating that?
It wasn't cooked. I probably like, what's wrong with it? Like,
I know. He did not know. He's like, this isn't very good. I was like, because it's not cooked. I mean, the inside was cooked, but like the bell pepper was extra crunchy because it just wasn't.
Yeah.
All right.
What do
Okay.
you call?
So we're talking about marketing today. So if you
Yes.
are again
Yes.
tuning in, this is your marketing gal, Anneliese, and I'd love for you guys to connect with her. And so just you were saying, I saw this actually on your profile. You were a fourth generation entrepreneur, female entrepreneur. So you've been in a line of entrepreneurs your
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My great grandma sold makeup door to door. But the cool thing about, and I don't know, maybe her husband was a support player. I don't really know anything about
Yeah.
my great grandparents, unfortunately, um, except that her last name was Wright, so she always says she was always right. That was the joke there. But my grandparents, they owned a craft business. Now my
Mhm.
grandma's in her 90s. My grandpa has gone to heaven. But my grandpa was the support player and my grandma was the face. And then
Mm.
the 3 years that my parents owned a business together, my mom still owns businesses now, but like when they actually, like, it was the sole income for our family, my mom was the face, my dad was the trainer,
Mhm.
and now I'm the face and my husband makes it all go round. Like, he always jokes that I make him look good because he delivers on what I say can happen. And I said, well, I try not to say anything that I don't think you can deliver on, but sometimes, it's maybe a little bit of a stretch, and we make it work. But yeah, and my daughter with her personality, everyone's like, you can't just say she's going to be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, with her personality, I don't know she's going to listen to anybody else, but we'll
Yes.
see. That
Yes.
she might. I mean, she can grow and change, but she definitely has that type A, mom, like, how could you not know this? But she's 4 and I'm not. So yeah, I see her being an entrepreneur too, but we'll see. She always
Yeah.
wants to join in the business and come in on a call or hand out business cards. So she's our brand manager right now because
Oh,
we need
sweet.
some kind of leadership title with her.
Yes.
So
Yes.
manager
Absolutely.
seems to fit. And
I
then
can
my
see
son's
her.
our chief cuteness officer. So
Oh, chief
yeah,
cuteness,
his
chief
whole job
cuteness.
is to be cute. So he's all over
I
LinkedIn.
I love that it's a family affair. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah,
question for you on
yeah,
marketing.
yeah,
What are some of the pitfalls? So, you work with a lot of business owners,
yeah.
and a lot of them are like, I'm handling my own marketing. So, what are some of the pitfalls you see business owners making when it comes to their marketing if they choose to tackle it on their own? Or do they even tackle it? That's a good question.
That's a great question. So I'll back up and say, a lot of the people that we help are those B2C, service-based companies, and generally their origin is they came in as a kid of a business owner and
Hmm.
they're taking over the business. I see, like, our biggest client, his parents ran the business and his mom still owns the business, but he runs everything. And so there's that scenario. Or they were working for someone else. They're really good at a trade.
Hmm.
And they're like, they figure out how much money they're making the other company. And they're like, I could do this.
Hmm.
They just don't take into consideration everything else involved.
Hmm.
That's how I would answer that question, is naively and not like maliciously, right? But they just don't take into consideration everything else that's involved other than the trade, right? And I've learned that over, though I come from, generations of family owned businesses and I saw my parents do it growing up and I had some kind of inkling of what was involved. You still like, oh, I've got to, have this on my website and, that's an expense, or a CRM that we just, initiated, and like all those little expenses. And so business owners just, they put so much on their shoulders. I say that all the time as part of my tagline is we take marketing off your shoulders, but there's
Hmm.
a lot on their shoulders. And if they don't do it, someone else has to. And then they're in that struggle of, can I afford?
Yeah.
The other big thing I think, and you may ask this in a minute, so tell me to slow down, but just on this line of thought, they in the name of saving money, they lose money.
Mhm. Big.
Um, they do things. I don't know if you've ever read, and of course, I can't think of the title right now. I should have. It's The Big Leap. I can't think of the author. Have you read that book where he talks about the zone of genius and the zone of excellence?
Hmm.
And, their zone of excellence or their zone of genius is their trade, right?
Right.
It's not
Right.
marketing unless they are running a marketing company, right?
Mhm.
And they sometimes still shouldn't do their own marketing because it's a lot. Right? It is a lot of mental energy and data and, breaking all these kind of things down. And so they put all that on their shoulders and they lose money not outsourcing things and just getting it out of their head. Like the things I've outsourced to Ace Virtual Agency,
Mhm.
the amount of mental energy that has been freed up to me it's mind blowing.
Right.
I literally couldn't have quantified it. I'm still trying to figure out how to write them a recommendation. And I'm like, how do I put this into words? It's wild.
Yeah.
So I
I
hope
I
that
no,
answers the question.
that's good. I love that you said that too, because I think that that's the misconception people have is if I have to spend this money, where am I going to get the money? Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing, the money will come once
will
you put
come.
yourself in that zone of genius. You know it, that's what you do. You're out doing the things that you do best. You let other people tackle the rest of the things that you're like, I'm okay, but I'm not the best at this. And there are
Right,
people far better suited to do this role, like marketing.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and
No.
I'm in marketing. I have been since 2007, and technically you could say I was in advertising at 11 when I was helping my parents stuff envelopes. That's advertising,
Mhm.
not really, but I mean, kind of. I joke that's where I got my start in advertising, but um, I don't do my own website. It's not my zone of genius. I'm
Uh-huh.
really good at the data and analyzing it, and I can do things on Google Ads, but that's my husband's zone of genius. I let him do that, and I let our VAs take care of the rest. And I do what I'm really good at and just stay in that lane.
Mm-hmm.
And then the world just it goes around better. I
Yeah.
found when you do it that way.
Right. No,
So
I
yeah.
agree with that. I agree with that. I work for one of my responsibilities is I work for my broker. I'm contracted with him, and he put me in
Okay.
the best position on Elise because I am
Yeah.
definitely this ultimate connector. Love getting on stages. Love talking.
Art!
Give me the mic. I'll do whatever. And I went to an event and had like 4 people come up, join our group. I had a property management, a girl who wants to turn over her property management. Like that was easy for me. And it's like, do that, like put me in
Genius.
that. And he was even telling me, he's like, that's the perfect role for you. And I was like, it
Yes.
is the perfect role for me.
Yes.
You putting me here and just piddling around and doing database management, not my
Yeah.
thing. Not my
Oh
thing.
my gosh. I messaged my website girl and I'm like, I had a momentary lapse of amnesia. I forgot I was bad at this. I don't know what I was doing. Will you please help me? And like I think they should charge more for what they take off of me, but I'm not going to tell her. If she wants to charge me that, it's fine. But then what I can make per hour when I'm not sitting there banging my head against the wall,
Right.
right? So, I mean, the last thing I'd add, if I can, to a pitfall I see is that business owners wait too long to do what they know that they should just they know they need to outsource it, and they keep trying to hold on, which I can relate to. I'm a recovering control freak. I don't know if you are. I don't know if that's just female or if that's a personality. But it's like, um, I just want to hold on to it. But it's like the dichotomy, like the difference of how I feel like not like I had outsourced some stuff to my VA and it was 2 or 3 weeks ago and it was a Wednesday night and I had nothing on my to-do list and my kids were asleep and I took a bath and I watched a movie and it was
What?
amazing. And I was like, why was I holding on to this? Like, what was I doing? But you think because you're so used to being in that, right? That like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, we'll figure it out. It'll work. And it's like, no, it's like a bad relationship. Just like get out of it. Just no, it's not going to get
Yes.
better. So
Yes. Yes. I can't agree with you more on that because
yeah,
you're right. Like I think that when you learn to let a lot of those things go, you free up your time. We talked
yes,
about it. You get to do the things you're better at that you're more efficient at, which gives you more time.
which is
Like,
the
mm,
most precious thing more than money. And that's what I really try to impart to my dads is that time
mm-hmm.
with your wife, with yourself, with your kids. I mean, altogether, whichever, like having the option is always more, it's priceless compared to any amount of money that you could hold on to. And really, it's that difference between lack mentality and abundance mentality, which may or may not be where we go with marketing, but I could talk about that forever too. Because I've overcome that in my life. And I know the difference. I've lived there, I've been there, so I relate, but I'm like, come over here. The water's better.
I know.
The sun's out. The water's clear blue. Like you're like, it's water, but you know.
It's the murky waters. Yes, the water is
Yeah.
much better over here. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about marketing, and I want to say hi to Scott and Cassandra. Thanks for joining us in the green room.
That's my buddy.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you guys have questions, it's also, like I said, on live, if you want to go ahead and ask away. And the one thing I wanted to ask is like, okay, so we've established we need a marketing partner. And how can we bring on a marketing partner as an extension of our family? Because here we are running this business and we know we need this. All right. So how do we do that? How do we bring on this marketing partner as an extension of what we're already doing? What would you say?
You said an extension of your family, because I feel like my clients, and I tell them this, like, welcome to the Never Miss a Moment Consulting family. Like it really is. And you know, I like, we're talking about like kid stuff on, you know, text message and whatever. Like I was emailing one of my guys and I'm like, the potty training for boys, like what do I do? Like, you know, it goes both ways. But you know, this came into my head, and I don't know if this will help people maybe relate to it, but very much like, you know, one of my dreams is, you know about the Brady Bunch, right? And Alice.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My dream is to have an Alice. I want someone to meal prep. I want someone to go take my car to get an oil change so I don't have to sit there. All those little things. And marketing is very much like that. Like, it's something that people may want to be a little more involved in than meal prep or cleaning your house or errands. But you can start small. You can start with, you know, when I started with one of my long-term chief marketing officer clients, where I'm their CMO, we started with just a monthly report of his data because, bless him, he's like, Anneliese, just fit it on a Post-it note. Like, just make it really simple. Just make it like, you know, construction paper and pop-up books. Like that's our little joke. And we started there, and he got to trust us. Like he'd known me for years because I'd been a sales rep, but it was a little bit bigger of a role coming on as his CMO for his company, because his company literally feeds and clothes and supports 3 generations, like still his kids, and his great grandkids. So like I take that very, very personally. My husband's like, why are you so like about that? And I'm like, because great grandchildren are literally depending on this working. So
right.
It was a bigger trust factor for me to manage everything versus be a vendor of one part of his marketing. But we earned that trust. And then as he saw those results happen, then he brought my husband in to handle the Google ads. And then he brought me in to do, you know, the data analyzation. Like you can take baby steps, just like you may hire, you know, a cleaning lady to come like a couple hours a week and just like do the basics, right? And you may, you know, do meal prep like on the busy days of like soccer. So you can like, you know, but then like, you're like, oh, this is going well. Like that happened with me having a VA. Was I started with one thing and I was like, oh, you guys are like actually like doing exactly what you said, right? Because there's always that little bit of like, right, letting go of that control. Like, are you going to do it as well as I did? And I'm like, you guys might actually be doing it better than I am. Like, okay. And then, you know, I brought on a full-time VA. And then I'm like, oh, can you do this report for me? Like at least the data collection. And so it can baby step up and it can build. And that's what I would encourage people is, what's the part about marketing that just has you banging your head against the wall
Mm-hmm.
You know you're not getting an ROI on. You know, no matter how many things you go watch on YouTube or seminars or whatever, you're just not going to get better at it. Or frankly, you just don't care to get better at it. Talk to someone about those, right? Talk to a marketing vendor broker like myself of Anneliese, do you know someone who does this?
Mm-hmm.
Because while we focus on Google Ads, I have, and I won't name everyone because I will run out of time, but my SEO or my graphic design or my branding, or like I know people in all those, and talk to someone you trust. Hey, do you know someone who does this? Like I'm really struggling with this. And maybe just even start about it, like consult with them and see if you can figure it out. And then if you can't, like, okay, you know what you're talking about. All right, let me give you this little piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then just baby step it. That's what you don't have to outsource everything,
Right.
if that makes sense. You can start with a piece and just see what that feels like and compare, like I did. Oh, like I have a Wednesday night free. This is amazing. Why didn't I do this before? It's like you almost have to experience it in order to know what's different on the other side. So that would be my encouragement, is just dip a toe in, because I know it can be scary. We were talking about this in the green room of, we are a family owned business. We do have 2 kids. We are figuring out how to run a business together as
Mm-hmm.
husband and wife and still keep a focus on our marriage and take care of my aging parents and, all of those things. And so it's a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, like, okay, I'm not only giving up this money as part of my family budget, or saving it for like future stuff for the kids, like it's got to work. Like, oh, like I get that tug of war, I really do. But I have so many case studies of people before and after, and they're like, oh, like this is
Mm-hmm.
actually working. But it's hard until you experience it, is what I would say. Like you're never gonna like be okay with it until you go through it.
I agree. I agree with
Have you
that.
experienced that?
Yeah, I have. I want to give a shout out to Luis, who's joining us on Facebook. Hey, Luis, joining us
Oh,
from Ventura, California. Happy Friday. Yes, I agree. And you're right. Like, I like what you're saying of dip a toe and give a piece, give one aspect of your business and see how they do. Because I also have a VA and I have given them more and more and more things. Like, I'm like, oh, you can build a landing page for me. That's what I
yeah.
need. Because for me to try and build a landing page would take me days, not hours, days to figure it out, to make it even look remotely good. So
Yeah.
learn to trust other people that they will do the job even better. Like even these graphics, I did not create any of these things. I give it to
Oh
my
my
VA
gosh.
team.
Can I just say your graphics, your video, all of it, so well done. I don't know who did it, but amazing. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
if I can
Thank you.
add this just real quick, the other way is to think of like these service companies, they're an extension of other people's families. I don't want to fix my own toilet.
Hmm.
I don't want to fix my air conditioner. I don't want to get up on my own roof. I don't even want to mow my own lawn. I mean, gratefully, my husband still does that, but I'm like, honey, we can hire someone if you want. You don't have to do that because he's allergic to grass. I have no idea why he does it. I think it's just like out of the house time. So, but like, if they could flip it of like marketing is just it feels different, but it's no different than any other business that's an expert that offers that expertise to people. It might help shift a paradigm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to do any of those things. Like I'm really grateful when something goes wrong and I'm like, hey, it helps
Yes.
that I help a lot of those companies because they're just in my cell phone and I'm like, hey, can you get over here and
Yes.
fix my toilet from overflowing onto my floor? That'd be great.
That'd be great. Yeah, the thing about the grass and so I saw my husband up in a tree the other day, like
Oh no.
chopping down limbs, and I was like, "Do you need to be doing this? Because I will not be
Right?
holding the ladder. Like, go hire
Right?
someone to do that." I don't know. It's just a man thing. Royce, Louise, Scott. Is it a man thing? Is
Oh,
that a man
Scott's
thing?
totally gonna answer yes. He is
Yeah,
Mr. DIY
like why not
outside.
just go and hire the landscaper or hire the tree trimmer? Like that's my ammo. Like I don't mind cleaning my house, but I will not do the
Right.
yard. I won't do the
Yeah.
yard.
Yeah.
Yes.
If
Yes.
it
All
risks
right.
my safety,
Yeah, safety. It's a safety thing. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, as we wrap this up too, Anneliese, I told you half an hour goes by
Oh my
so
gosh.
fast.
I just saw it was 30 minutes. I was like,
I know, right? So I want to give you a little shameless plug. Tell people how they can find you. What kinds of businesses are you working with? And I'm going to check the private chat, but go ahead and do that. And yeah. Oh, Scott says yes, but I will not climb trees.
good man. Good man. Because he is one of the most accident prone people alive. I really
Oh,
don't know how he's like walking. He has angels carrying him
oh.
everywhere he goes, and he just needs to build his models.
So the
Stay
boys are
inside.
chiming in because it's groovy. Are you telling me it's groovy to cut your own trees and perhaps
It's a
fall out
matter
of
of
said tree?
pride.
I think
I do
so.
for them, it's a matter of pride, and I get it. I'm like, as long as you're not risking your safety, like mowing the grass, go ahead. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. But no, my husband wouldn't get up in a tree either or on the roof, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But no, anyway, we do help um B2C service companies. So, like some of the examples I've mentioned, but specifically, if you follow me at all on LinkedIn, you will know that I am the mom that advocates for dads. We do help dad owned businesses. And, the reason that I do that is growing up, I realized I lived the dichotomy of the difference of when my dad was an employee and he traveled, and when he was business partner with my mom and we got to go together.
Mhm.
And so and we're living that now. Last May we were able to reduce my husband's schedule with a out of the house client. So it's still through our business, but to my daughter, who was 2.5 at the time, she's like, yeah, dad's leaving for work,
Mhm.
but reduce that 60%. And May 1st, we are launching the account that is going to let him come home full time and work in our business. So we've lived that difference. And I could
Mhm.
talk on that for another 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
I am the kind of person where I like to pass things on. And so I love to help other dads free up that time as well. Our cute little tagline is we take marketing off your shoulders so that if your kids are small enough, you can put them up there instead. So
Oh.
you'll see that on every single one of my posts and on our website. And I think I even just updated my banner on LinkedIn. So it's all over there. But yeah, we do done for you Google ads for dad owned businesses, which means we can take it all off your shoulders. You can be as involved or uninvolved as you want. A lot of ours are very, very uninvolved because they see the results and they're
Right.
good.
Right.
I'm also, like I said, a marketing vendor broker. So anything under the sun, including someone like Tisha who could, I don't know that a plumbing company is going to want her to come in and talk, but we never know, right? She's going to be in the back of my mind, right? If somebody needs that. And then I am a fractional CMO marketing manager, depending on, your level of corporate background, like what you're going to relate to. But I literally have companies that hand me their entire marketing budget and say, Anneliese, go forth, hire, fire. Let's talk on maybe some of the big things, but we meet once a month and they go do their business and their family and they don't worry about the marketing at all. So that is what I do. And yeah, I really enjoy it because I see the impact. It's not, I can't remember the exact quote, but where you stick your hand in a cup of water and then you pull it out and you don't
Mhm.
notice the difference. I do get to see the difference. And so it's very rewarding to be able to give that back. And then in turn, we're reaping that back in our families. So it's a good reason to wake up every morning.
I love it. I love that you've really taken this family first approach too. And
Yeah.
I'm there. I think that's why you and I relate so well
Yeah.
because I
I
am,
find you guys on LinkedIn. We
yeah,
find each other. We
I am
can't not find each other.
Yeah, I'm the 10 to 3 girl. Like that's my thing. And I don't know if you've seen this on Elise, but it's coming up toward the end of the month. Every last day of the month, I always talk about my wins. I'm always big about celebrating the journey, celebrating the wins of the month. And it's not all business. A lot of it's
Yeah.
family. A lot
Yeah.
of it's I got to do this with my family, or I got to experience this because
Yeah.
and I mean, we talked about how on LinkedIn, people know you as the real mom or this human jungle gym. Like you have
Yeah.
branded yourself so wonderfully that you're like, my family means so much to me. And I mean, I'm like, if you see those posts that I write, I want you to take away that I'm living a life full of balance, that
Yes.
I'm not work, 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 signed a new client, hustling, grinding, signed a new client, didn't get to see my kids. Like, I want you to look at that and go, wow, she's involved in her community. She's doing things for
I
other
love
people.
that.
You know, that's a big part. Like, I'm a big brother, big sister. Like, I
Oh,
was at
that's
their
you.
event last night,
That's
and I got
your
suckered
Lexus
into
box.
being an ambassador.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so those are the things that really fuel me. And I don't get paid for that, but it's a feel good and I get to do that. And it's balancing my life. Like, the clients see that, and if anything, that's how we connect.
Is what you would get paid worth it though, compared to like the intangible of it? Like, I think some of those things are priceless. And yeah, I do the same thing on Tuesday. I do a Tuesday Triumph,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to feature a business, but sometimes, like last week, it was that I made it through like a hellacious week of our whole family being sick and still running my business. And
Yeah.
Friday is a Friday favorite, where we're talking about wins. So yeah, I try and lace all those in as well. Everyone's been following our journey about, is Dustin home yet? Did you do it yet? And I'm like, almost. We want to do it right. So
Oh, good
I love
stuff.
that.
Good. Well, I know we have some of the men are commenting. I want to read this to you. Let's
Okay.
see, Joyce. Oh no, Louise. The fall doesn't hurt. It's a sudden stop at the end. The boom. Yes. And then
Yeah. No thanks.
I think Scott.
They probably enjoy the fall.
Chainsaws. He says chainsaws, more power. Oh, yes. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks,
Somehow broke his
guys.
thumb during it.
Yes. Uh-oh. All right. Well, I just want to say thanks to
Bless
everybody who was tuning in live, and for the gentlemen who were brave enough to say why they would get up in a tree or not get up in a tree. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to tell my husband about that, because I still am like, don't get in that tree. Do not cut that. We'll hire someone to do it. But Anneliese, I just want to say thanks so much for being on and just sharing why people need a marketing partner. And hopefully, if you're watching this, you'll understand why you really should start to outsource some of those things, especially if you're like, I want more time in my business. I want to be with my family. This is taking up a lot of my energy. And I'm not really good at this. Like, if we can admit I'm not really that good at this, then
that's the hardest part.
Right. If you can fully admit, and I fully admitted that, like graphics, I'm like, I can sit here and tell you what I would like. But to come up with
my girl, Pam Brinkmoller at U Studio, she makes me look good.
Yeah.
My website, you don't want me doing it. I managed on Canva to do my LinkedIn banner, but beyond that, nope. And I struggled with that too. So I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah. You really have to ask yourself the question, what is my time worth?
Yes. 100%.
And could I be doing other things like spending it with family or taking a bubble bath, right? Whatever you want to do.
Tough thing about the bubble bath is whether the 4-year-old is yelling through the wall that's right next door. So that I really want to take this bubble bath. It's really early in the morning or really late at night.
It's funny. All right. Well, thank you so much, Anneliese, for being here with me. And for everybody tuning in or catching the replay, great gal to connect with, super down to earth. Her kids are in the next room, as she was sharing, and just
hopefully asleep.
Yeah, the super.
Find out when I open the door.
Yeah. Okay, we'll find out. All right. Well, just have a great Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. And we'll be back next Friday. And we'll see you on the show then. So have a great weekend, and we'll chat soon. All right.
Tisha.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.